Good morning and welcome to the program Perspectives. Perspectives this morning on Invicta 98.9. And this morning we'll be, talking about a very special event, so to say, that means coming up in Kaduna State, and that's talking about council elections. That will be coming up on the 4th of September. And to share thoughts with us about, the coming elections and what arrangements and preparations that have been made and where we are with the elections coming. I have with me in the studios this morning the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission Chairman. That's talking about Kasicum. And Dr. Saratu Binta Dikko Audu is the chairman of the Kaduna State Kaduna Independent Electoral Commission, Kasicum. One thing about my guest this morning is that she pioneered electronic voting in the country when she conducted local government elections in the state in 2018. So another round of council elections is around the corner, which she will also preside over. But the election date has been fixed 4 times, yet there's still uncertainty whether the current date, being 4th of September, will still fly, as the ruling APC, which controls both the state and national level, has fixed its party local government congress same date. So, point blank questions, and let me welcome you to our studios this morning, Dr. Saratu.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. But I just start with this point blank question that yes, when will the council poll take place, in spite of all of this that has been lined up?
The Kaduna State Local Government Council's election will hold on the 4th of September 2021 by the special grace of God.
Not minding what the APC why it has fixed its own too talking about party at state and national level for the same date.
Well, I don't know why APC has done that, but we're an independent electoral body. So we are non-partisan. We don't belong to any party. And so what happens in the parties is not really our business. We fixed our elections for the 4th of September, and we will hold it on the 4th of September. Like you said, we have moved the polls. Excuse me, we've moved the polls 3 times. This is the 4th date we have set, and we're not going to move it again.
Okay. And yes, just to ask on that too. Now that we know that 4th of September is, fixed and established. Now, the question to ask, how set is Kasicum for hitch-free and credible election?
Well, Kasicum is, set for the election on the 4th of September. Right now, our commissioners and staff are in all the local government areas conducting sensitization programs, and they've been very successful so far. We started on Monday, we're ending tomorrow, and then we're going into training of ad hoc staff. That's the presiding officers and the assistant presiding officers. So we are set. The sensitization is going very well. The turnout is very good. The turnout of women is very good. To see the machines, to try out the machine, and to be sure that they are going to get free, fair, and credible election.
Well, we do know, again, it's all there on the table for us, and that's talking about, we will mention the issue of insecurity and the unfortunate incident that took place here in Kaduna a few days back. And so the question we just want to ask that, yes, with insecurity, the front burner too, what are steps taken and again, on preparation and arrangement on that?
Yes, we're all aware of the state of insecurity in the state, in Kaduna State. And we're working together with the security outfits, the police, and other security agencies to ensure that on election day, security is beefed up all around the state. And in all of our polling units, our collation centers, the headquarters, and in the entire state. And I believe that the police is pulling in together all other security outfits to put hands together, put hands on deck to ensure that security is beefed up. And our staff in the field and all voters are given the best in terms of security.
Well, again, this is what is playing out or what has played out, that we see at the national level. And that's talking about electronic voting and transmission of results which has, is on the national space now. So the National Assembly having reservations with the network for effective transmission of results. Let's get, a little bit of your experience of in 2018. Is electronic transmission of election, doable in this country?
Electronic transmission is doable. We have done it in 2018. We will do it again in 2021. It is doable. The transmission is simply by network. Yes, we know that there are issues with networks, especially these days. But we all know that once you send a message, if there is no network at the time it's sent, when network improves, the message goes. Okay? So transmission is possible. It's doable.
But you did, come into some problems or, challenges you faced, even with the 2018, electronic voting that we had.
You see, the machine that we deployed in 2018 and that we're deploying again this year is a machine that records whatever happens on it. So it records the transactions. All of the votes that were cast on that machine are recorded on the machine. They are saved on the machine memory. They are transmitted. They are saved on a USB. There are physical tallies that are printed there and then. There's a paper trail and there's a summary of the activity on that machine on that day. So there are 4 levels of keeping of the results, of saving of the results of the activity on the machine before you transmit. So even if the transmission does not happen instantly, you still have the paper trails, you still have the summary of results, you still have the memory on the machine, you still have the USB memory that's been transferred onto a USB flash. So there is no problem with maybe the votes got lost in the air somewhere. Or there's no problem with that. The physical time, Nigerians still work on physical, on paper work. And so the physical tally is the summary of the result that you get at the end of the election is your key to any credibility of the election.
Yes, it does look like a watertight, elections that we may have coming from this. But there were doubts too about the credibility of the 2018 elections, even at that. And so what would you see as some of the concerns of those that raised, issues on the credibility of the, election?
You see, they raised doubts because they were used to the other system where figures were changed and things like that happen. But you see, this machine prints out what happens on it. If you have any questions or any doubts, you can open up the ballot, the ballot box, open up, sort out the paper trails, count them physically there and then to confirm that the summary of results that's printed by the machine actually shows what happened on the machine. We've done it over and over and over again. During our sensitization programs, we did that in 2018. We're doing it again now. You can actually bring out the physical paper trails, sort them out, count them, and confirm that the summary of results you get is exactly what is in the box. Now, the problem with Nigerians is they are looking for, let me not say politicians, they are looking for ways they can compromise that data. But the machine cannot compromise the data. And so I want to recommend to politicians that there's no need to fight over anything. Stay at the polling unit. Protect your votes, protect those numbers, make sure you collect a copy of the summary of results that is printed. We print 10 copies at the end of every election, 10 copies. The copy is given to every party agent that is at the polling unit and every security agent that is at the polling unit. So there are 10 copies of that result floating. If you have any problems, just collect the summaries of results from all of the polling units within the ward, add them up with a calculator. It's as simple as that. And that figure cannot be changed. So Nigerian politicians or Kaduna State politicians need to understand that what you need to do is protect your vote, protect the data on that machine by collecting the summary result and holding on to it. You have it, and it won't change. And that's what we see at the back end.
Well, let's talk about voter apathy here, and that's what took place in Sabongari at the State Assembly by-elections. it recorded less than 20% low turnout. And then the Lere House of Representatives seat by elections too was no different with 22.8 voter turnout. And what is SICAM doing different to address the issue of voter apathy?
The issue of voter apathy is because people believe their votes will not count. In the case of our local government council's election, we are using the electronic voting machine that ensures that your vote counts. From what we have seen on the field so far, like I said to you, the commissioners are all out in the local governments. The turnout is, people are excited about, let's see this machine, let's try it out, let's see what it can do. And because of that excitement, we recorded an average of, I think about 60-something% turnout in 2018. Okay? There were ups and downs, of course, it's average. And people are excited to see this machine, to see this new technology and to try it out. And that's what we are seeing here. I can show you pictures of queues of women. That's yesterday coming out to see the machine, to try it out. They're excited about it. And I think because of the excitement of voting on a machine, of using the machine, of seeing the machine and being part and parcel of making history, using electronic voting machines in Nigeria and Africa. As you know, Nigeria is the first country in West Africa to deploy electronic voting because of Kaduna State. And Nigeria is also only the second in Africa to deploy electronic voting, again because of Kaduna State. Okay, we do commend our governor very, very highly because it takes courage to do something like this, to say, let the vote of the people count. And that's what it is. And I think people are excited about it. And I expect to see a good turnout on Saturday.
Well, what
4th of September.
Okay, what we all, would expect. But again, let me put it across. We know the situation of the country, and people will say things are bad, things are hard, and then again, to our politicians, representatives of the people, there's this nonchalant attitude again by those that have elected them there to say that what has mattered since they got into office. And again, this is where I'm bringing this voter apathy in again, that the level of awareness that you've created, yes, you've been on the field and all of that, but going by generality of the people, sensitizing the people, confidence, the confidence that building that we can see with this, elections coming up now.
You see, it takes time to build confidence in a system. And that's what we see in our local government council elections. Yes, the people say, what have you done for us? But we are trying to tell them, let's change the narrative. Hold your elected officials, hold them to be accountable for the trust you have given to them in giving them your vote. And so accountability for us is important. Our plans usually include a workshop right after the local government councils are elected, for them to let us, first of all, for us to let them know what the law requires of them. What is your responsibility as a local government council? Then midway through their tenure, we are supposed to, I know we were not able to do it last time for funding reasons, but we are supposed to call them back and see midterm, what have you done? How well have you done? Have you delivered what you said to the people you are going to deliver? And then just before the end of the tenure, we call them back to say, okay, tell us what you have done. Why should people vote for you again? They should be able to say that. So the people should learn to, demand some level of accountability from their elected officers. It's because we just let them do what they like. But when people begin to hold them accountable, when they know that their votes will count, then I think we'll begin to change the narrative of the apathy. But it takes time.
Okay. I'll still go back to Lere now, still on Lere House of Reps by-election. The opposition parties, gave INEC 80% pass mark for the process, but the election was alleged to have been marred by vote buying. Is SICAM taking, note of issues like this and with potential to, affect elections' credibility?
You see, the issue of vote buying is strictly an issue of an individual's level of understanding or whatever. Because why would you sell 3 years of your life for 500 naira, even if it's 5,000 naira you are given, to vote for someone who's not going to work for you? It's wasting your money. It's wasting the next 3 years of your life. So when people begin to understand that, look, this 1,500 or whatever it is you are given will not do for you what a credible politician can do for you in 3 years, then they will refuse. They'll take your 1,000 and probably vote what they want anyway. So we are trying to get people to understand that, look, that 500 or 1,000, whatever you take, is stealing from your 3 years development of your local government, of your immediate community. Then they would not do that. They will begin to hold the politicians accountable, to say, no, I will not take your 500, I'll take it. It's my money anyway. I'll spend it and I'll still vote somebody I think will do something that will improve my life. But then the people themselves need to take that decision.
Okay, again, this time one would want to ask what is the estimated number of registered voters, number of political parties that fielded candidates for the elections.
The estimated number of eligible voters in Kaduna State, I think now stands at about 3.5 million, 3.6 million. 11 parties have fielded candidates for the election. So we expect that it will be a keen contest. It will be a keen contest. And we do expect that the voters will come out to, it's their right. It's their right. They should have a right to vote who they want. And then they have a right to demand from their elected voters that they actually work for the community to improve the lives, the quality of lives of people.
Yeah, you scratched on it, but again, let me just still stay on that, and that's talking about this time Tegri and young ones, the youth being willing tools in the hands of unscrupulous politicians and all of that. That again, going back to the hard times and difficult times that we're in, and these young ones may just want to get money for. Just any money to keep them going, survival and all of that. But, Tegri in our elections, it's always been a sore point there. So, again, on Tegri, SECOM on all of this.
Well, Tegri is a major issue. We had issues in some of the local governments in 2018 because of exactly what you're talking about. But, with sensitization, we are increasing our level of sensitization of the youth. To know that it does not pay. Violence does not pay. You end up in hospital, or somebody ends up in hospital, or indeed in the mortuary, because of someone who probably doesn't even know you exist. Okay? And for pittance, for a few hundred naira, what's the point? What we should work towards, and that's what we're trying to change the mindset of the youth, to look, we've got to develop our locality. We've got to demand accountability from our elected officials. And so there's a lot of sensitization there in the media, both print and electronic, and in our sensitization programs. We have lots of handbills and posters and banners that have gone out. And we are hoping that we'll be able to reach out to the youth, okay, to, reconsider their stand, because the future belongs to them. That's what. So they must take hold of it. They must grab it and, make a difference and not allow things to continue the way they are. And anyway, with the electronic voting machine, when you know that the machine will record whatever happens in it, so we're hoping that they would give it a chance, okay, and let the will of the people prevail. Let them not put their lives on the line for someone who will forget them as soon as he gets into office. So we are trying to change that mindset. And again, these things take time, but I think we'll get there.
Again, this is just about projecting into the future. Kaduna State stood out with you presiding over in the 2018 elections. For where we are now in 2021 and these council elections too, what do you hope, to, be a point that, you can raise yourself up and be tall and stand high, that you give Kaduna State a local government council elections that will stand out and will be a reference point to?
For me, the principal thing is that we have an election that is violence-free. Because violence does not profit anybody. You have a lot of people who either have injuries or lose their lives for a cause. I don't even know if they understand what cause they are fighting for. But for me to have an election that's violence-free, just like we had in 2018, there are all kinds of predictions about, it's going to be violent and all of that. But it was not violent, it was peaceful. And I believe that because of that, people would, and the fact that we are using a machine that they have seen, that they have tried out, and that they believe will actually record their vote, it will also be violence-free this time. And I think for Kaduna State, that's a plus. And indeed for our governor, because like I said earlier, it takes courage for a politician in Nigeria to say, I am willing to accept the will of the people. And so I am willing to deploy electronic voting. And as you can see, he's the only one that has done that. Okay. So for us to have a violence-free election, I think will be the greatest achievement of this election. And to have the will of the people prevail. I know the politicians feel there are places where there's nothing you can do. The one party or the other will take all the votes. But like I said, you have the printout from the machines. Hold on to your printout. There are tribunals that have already been set up, a tribunal and an appeals tribunal for the election. So you can take your case to the tribunal, and you have your evidence to prove your case, whichever way you think you want to prove it, unless you know that you don't have a case. But if you have a case, you have the paper trails, you have the printouts, you have a calculator, you can prove your case. So I'll appeal to the politicians, to let peace reign. If you think that your mandate is being stolen from you, go to court. There are tribunals that are set up. Let's do this thing in a civilized way, and don't just get a bunch of youth and convince them to put their lives on the line because you want to get into office and do nothing for them after that.
Yes, from the Commission's standpoint too, challenges that you've seen may face to impede the process of credible elections and all of that. Commission's challenges in giving Nigerians and citizens of Kaduna State free, fair, and credible elections.
Well, there are challenges. Challenges led us to move the election 3 times. Okay, at that time it's because some of our materials were not yet here, were not in place. But now everything's in place. Our machines are primed, they are ready for elections. The challenges we now face, or I foresee, are challenges that have to do with the human factor of this, people that might, compromise their position, people that might try to compromise the election. Already, we sent out letters of appointment of some of our ad hoc staff, and the letters had hardly reached the recipients than they have already set up a counterfeit letter that's gone out offering people the same job that we had already offered. But we have a pretty secure network, and so it's easy to prove that those letters are counterfeit. So letters that do not come from the commission will not be honored during the election. So those are some of the challenges we have. Our server is extremely secure. We have tried to make sure that it cannot be hacked, and we have tried to have it hacked, but we've not succeeded, which means that it is pretty secure. We are very confident of our server and the platform on which we are doing ad hoc staff recruitment. Okay, but like I said, it just takes, once one letter gets out, people will fake it and try to sell it for one thing or the other. But we've discovered that, and we've said strictly we have our list. Our list will be out on the field with our workers, and if your name is not on our list, I don't care what kind of letter you bring from wherever, you will not work with us on election day.
The program is Perspectives, and it's coming to you on Invicta 98.9. And with us this morning, we have Dr. Saratu Binta Dikko Audu, the chairman, Kaduna Independent Electoral Commission, KATSICOM, sharing thoughts with us about the elections coming up, 4th September. And of course, you out there too, your role in this election to make it credible and to make it fair. We'll come back after this break. And back is the program Perspectives this morning, and we're having with us the chairman, Kaduna Independent Electoral Commission, KATSICOM, Dr. Saratu Binta Dikko Audu, with us in the studios. And all getting ready for the elections, council elections coming on the 4th of September. And of course, what you need to know, the challenges that are there, and what the things are expected of you too, the voter, to make it a successful outing. Just before we go into, I'd like to take calls now, but just before we do that, I'd just like to take you to the national space, and let's talk about INEC itself at the national level and come back to the state too. Doubts that Nigerians may have about the independence of this commission, knowing again that you in Kaduna State were, appointed by the state governor, Malam Nasser El-Rufai, at the national front too. We know that what happened too. So, trust in this commission by the people, does that in any way affect how people see the commission and its operations?
Well, people will always think you are controlled by the government in place, because for us, funding of course comes from the government. Okay, and he who holds the
dictates the
tune. Okay, but to be fair to the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, he told us from day one he was not going to interfere with our work, with our operations. And to be fair to him, he has not. He does not interfere with. He makes money available for us when the elections come due, and he does not interfere. And he has never told us, "Oh, this is the candidate I want in this place," or that. He has never done it. I must, be fair to him. The people feel there is no way the government in place must control what you do. But for me, we saw, with the Bible, that I was going to be fair to everybody, and that's what I will do, because I'm accountable to my God first and foremost, like I've always said, before accountability to any man. And since I took an oath that we are going to be fair to everybody, give every political party a level playing ground, we will do that. And we are lucky in the sense that the governor of the state is with us on the same page with us as far as that one goes. So he has not interfered with our work at all, and has made funds available for us when elections come in. Yes, within the resources, availability of resources within the state, of course. So there are places where it's pretty tight on funding, but all said and done, we've been given a free hand to operate without interference from government, and that is the truth.
Let's bring this conversation to you out there, and that's talking about being part of it. And council elections coming on the 4th of September. What are your concerns too? And just what we want to put out. The chairman of the commission is here with us. That's talking about the Kaduna Independent Electoral Commission, CATSICOM. What are the things you want to know, and of course your concerns here. Be with us on numbers 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989.
Hello, Mr. Tonala.
Good morning. Yes, good morning.
And happy birthday, Naria.
Thank you.
Engineer Manuel. Welcome. I welcome our guest.
All right, Engineer Manuel.
Yeah, I think you have spoken very well, but what I want to ask, how ready are they concerning this forthcoming local government election? Are they proper ready? And there will not be any compromising from any quarter? Because the outcome of election we are seeing these days, we got to find out that INEC do compromise. But how ready are they? And will they be honest to God and honest to the people to free, credible election? Whosoever wins, they will announce, telling us inconclusive.
Okay.
That is question number one. The question number two, with this new technology on place, that they try to, I don't know whether they were monitoring the whole thing, they postponed it almost twice. I hope there will not be any suspension. They will not postpone the election this time that they have stopped. They have put the time. I just hope they are proper ready, because we don't want any excuse. We want Nigeria, Kaduna State people to choose who will lead them.
Okay, Engineer Emmanuel.
Morning.
All right, good morning. We got you on that. Still with your calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Toyalabi.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you very much. My name is Musa Bala. I greet you again.
All right.
She has explained very well, and I just want to appeal to the public and our various political parties that the business of making a hitch-free election It's not only the responsibility of either INEC or State Independent Electoral Commission. It is a collective responsibility for all. INEC or SICOM don't buy votes. They neither sell votes. Or they are not there when political parties and their agents are busy visiting people at their homes and try to convict them negatively. And they are not there also in our places of worship for negative campaigns against some people. So it is a collective responsibility for all. In as much as we want a free and fair election in our society, we must be prepared and be ready to be sincere and fair to ourselves and assist whatever organization is in charge. Even if somebody wants to do wrong thing, if the people are determined, I'm very sure that person will not do. So if people want fair and credible elections, we should do the needful. May God continue to protect us with good leaders, no matter their tribe or religion, and distance us from bad leaders who are corrupt and their agents. Good morning.
All right, Musa Bala, we'll take one more call and come back to our guest here. Still on the program, Perspectives this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And I also greet the commissioner who is in the studio there.
Good morning.
I have only one or two questions to clarify. Because before the electoral law was in place, I don't know whether I'm correct.
Your name, please.
Yes,
Your name, please.
My name is Comrade Gabriel, the Texas man.
Okay.
And what I wanted to say is that, for in Chuku local government, for example, the election there was inconclusive. And up to date, it's the sole administrator that has been controlling the local government. What will happen if the election is conclusive? Is it going to be, they're going to appoint sole administrator or they will do re-election? That's what I want to clear, because there's already a law that if any election is inconclusive, His Excellency may appoint anybody that he wish. Thank you.
Okay, all right, Comrade Gabriel. So, yes, we have them, Engineer Emmanuel Musa Bala and Comrade Gabriel, the textile man.
Okay, thank you all very much for those questions. I'll take them in order they came. The first one was, how ready is SICOM? How ready is SICOM? SICOM is ready for this election on the 4th of September 2021. We are ready. There will be no compromise. We have already explained the fact that the machine records whatever happens on it. The machine prints out a summary of the results of what happens on it. And all party agents need to do is make sure they get a copy of that printout. Of course, you must have fielded a candidate for the election before you can require or demand a copy of the summary of results. If you did not field a candidate, you have no business asking for a copy of the summary of results. But every security agent at every polling unit will also get a copy of the results of the election on that machine. So the issue of compromise will not arise, not from us. However, you have also raised the issue of honesty. That is a human factor. People believe different things, and so they, have different levels of honesty operating in their lives. We believe that we have tried our best. We have sensitized our staff. We have gotten them all to sign oaths of neutrality if they believe in any repercussions in breaking those oaths. We are getting all other staff that we engage to also sign oaths of neutrality. Oaths saying that they are going to just do their job between man and God and not allow themselves to be compromised in any way. So we would also like to appeal to the public to give this election a chance, to give this machine a chance. The machine records what happens on it. So what they need to do, what the political parties need to do, is do their homework, sensitize the people about the candidates they are fielding and what the candidates will do. And they should ride on previous activity of their candidates. Have their candidates been able to deliver the mandates given to them? How well have they done? How highly do they score? And do they deserve another term if they are fielding them again? And if they are not, they should ride on the credibility of the candidates they are fielding for elections. And we hope that we will begin to get people that are credible, and that those that have been elected into positions will actually deliver the dividends of democracy to their people. The second caller, I want to appreciate you very much for actually doing a lot of sensitization for us and talking to the people. Responsibility is collective, you're correct. Everybody has a stake in this, because when security is breached, you don't know where it's going to drop. It can just catch you where you are innocently going from point A to point B. So it is important for us not to allow ourselves to be dragged into any form of violence, but to maintain the peace. Democracy is all about the will of the people. Each and every one of us has a right. So allow everybody the right to demonstrate, to choose the leaders that they want. Okay, if the one you want does not win the election, too bad. Try again next time. But let the will of the people prevail. That's what democracy is all about. Third caller talked about Chukum and the inconclusiveness of that election. And this again is all the politicians. When you don't allow the system to move, when you don't allow the system to perform, then you have issues where there's an inconclusive election. However, even in that, we did in 2018, we arranged a second election as a follow-up to the first one that was inconclusive, and even that one were not allowed to execute that because of issues of insecurity, banditry in those days, and attacks on our staff. So we again want to ask and plead with the politicians to give this democracy a chance. If you believe so strongly that you have something to offer, then convince the people to vote you in or to vote your candidate in. And when he's voted in, let him do something that will make them want him to come back again. And that's what democracy is all about. You can't force your wish down people's throats. So, yes, if an election is inconclusive, the law allows us to run a runoff election or by-election or whatever, which we will do if there is a need to do that. Thank you.
No. Well, this is just an addition to what we were discussing earlier. And I'm still taking you back to 2018. Returning officers, we had disappearing acts there. And, so the commission this time around to avoid this incident on the 4th of September.
Yes, we had issues with disappearing returning officers in 2018 because people knew who the returning officers were, and so they went after them. There were cases where our returning officers were taken and put in houses here in Kaduna for hours until the election was over. Cases where they were taken and hidden in places in the local government areas. But you see, these are all politicians. We don't kidnap our own staff. The security operatives do not kidnap the staff. It's all the politicians that have done that. So the political class has to learn to accept the will of the people. Okay, we have been in consultations with the security agencies to provide security for all of our coalition centers and all of those who will work with us. And because of the issue of kidnapping of our staff, we will not announce, we will not disclose who our returning officers will be until it's time for them to work. Their work does not start until elections are over. A collation officer and a returning officer collates the votes from the different polling units and announces who has the highest vote. So his work does not start until election is over. Why do you want to know who he is 3-4 days before the time? Why do you want to know who he is by 8 a.m. when elections start? You don't need to know who he is. And what happens is when they know who these people are, they go after them and they kidnap them. So their own lives are in danger. And so we will not disclose who they are. We have selected who we are going to use, but we will not disclose who they are, where they are going to work until it's time for them to work, for their own safety and for the credibility of the election. Because if there is no returning officer, no collation officer to collate and return, then you do not have a result announced. And so we'll try to make sure that the lives of our returning officers, our collation officers, are secured. And the security agencies, the police, have assured us that they'll do their best to provide adequate security on election day for us.
Another addition to that is that again, you also had two people declaring different results, leading to confusion, litigations, and the example that we would draw here, would come from Jaba local government. So, what are you doing to address, this serious issue?
The Jaba issue was an interesting one. We declared two results because the politicians hijacked the returning officer, just like we said earlier, and so had their own person announce a result, which was not the result. Like I said, these machines record what's on them. When you now took the machine and you printed out all of the results on the machine, a different person won. And so there were two different results. So we expected that the parties would have gone to court to have the court adjudicate over that and declare who the winner is. The proof is there. But of course, they didn't go that way. So,
all right, we could just squeeze in this one call and, before we bring the program to a close. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Alabi.
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
And also, good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
This is Murtala. I'm calling from Abuja, Rigasa.
Okay, let's hear you.
Okay. I would like to begin with this advice to our youth. Before we achieve our goal, we must to unite ourselves, you understand? Because if we did not unite ourselves, I think our politicians will continue to play game with us, you understand? And also, up to now, you understand, I will not judge the INEC, independent election, you understand? Until after this election, you understand? Because I Rigasa here, or the Rigasa community, we will know who we vote for, you understand? When we see their result come out, that is the time that we judge whether they are sincere or not, you understand? Or someone from Sabo or someone from any part of Kaduna, until the citizen of that environment, they see their result before now they will make a judgment on the INEC, you understand? That is my comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you on that. And then one more. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Glad to get you, sir, because I've been trying for quite some time. My name is Buba Umar.
Okay, Buba Umar.
Now, the problem what he's talking is not the reality of what the problem of electioneering in local government. He talk of the data management. First of all, I'm a member of Computer Professionals of Nigeria. We have been having national workshops and so on issues of local government and so on. None of these INEC officials have been attended. Now, among the data, we find out that multiple comprehensive on these elections or on these machines that he's talking. In fact, the machine, before they brought it out for public to vote, it has been saturated already. And one of the things we wanted to highlight to INEC is let them follow the footsteps of NIM. In fact, if you complete, including your picture will come out. We did the same for them. Now, if you only come there now, you can complete for a whole local government and submit the result. So the activities you're telling us up to now, we are not satisfied. Go out, don't talk of where people are aware of you flow line and board. Go all those words outside where you just see people have already been voted. So we challenge them to come to the conference and improve their own data.
Okay. All right. Buba Umar, thank you. Well, just come back to our guest there, the man from Rigasa and Buba Umar.
Okay, thank you very much, the guy from Rigasa. You are obviously a youth, and I'm very glad that you called in, and you have raised a point. You know, stay with the machine. If you are a party agent, even if you are just a voter and you want to see the end of the election. Stay at the polling unit. Just stay away from the machine. Stay 300 yards away, but stay with the machine until the end of the election when they print out the summary of results. You will see the summary of results, and that will prove to you that those are the people that actually voted on that machine. So my advice to you is stay and protect your vote. No violence. Just stay there until it's printed, and you will see the summary of results. The other guy, Buba, you said the Computer Association of Nigeria. We do have people that attend that meeting. Okay, our computer people do attend that meeting, so they are up to speed with what goes on there. The machine has no votes printed on it before election begins. Please, at your polling unit, if you are there before 8, the presiding officer will print out a result summary to show that there are 0 votes for every political party. You will see it. You will have a copy. You will look at it. 0 votes for every political party. At the end of the election, he will print out a summary sheet that will now show the number of votes for every political party. So you can compare it. There is nothing like we come with machines that are already loaded with votes. That does not happen. It is not happening in SECOM. It will not happen under my watch. Stay with your machine. Insist that at 8 o'clock it is opened. You will see the ballot box is empty. You will see the printout of the sheet, the initial printout from the machine that will show that each of the 11 parties have 0 votes for chairman, 0 votes for councillor. At the end of the election, you will see how many votes each political party scored. If you are not satisfied with that, you can ask that the physical tallies be sorted and counted to confirm that that is actually the result at that polling unit. Well, I want to appeal to everybody to please give this election a chance. We don't need violence. Let it be violence-free. Go cast your ballot and wait for the results. If you don't trust that we'll do a good job, stay there until the end of the election and see the summary of results. And I wish us all a very safe and peaceful election. Thank you all very much.
Yes, and just before you go, quickly, a caller just sent this in. Will there be restriction of movement on that day?
Yes, we are talking with the security agents and the government to impose restriction of movement between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. on that day in the entire state. Thank you.
That will just be about the size of it on the program Perspectives this morning. And we're talking with our guest this morning, Dr. Sarah Binta Daku Audu, Chairman, Kaduna Independent Electoral Commission, Katsima. We'd like to thank you for coming on the program.
Thank
Katsicom. All right. Katsicom. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
And I'd like to thank my colleagues too, who are part of this program. Angu Bali, thank you for making this possible too. I'd like to thank Morpheus, the man with the rhymes, for connecting us with the people, and of course Wisdom for putting us in the pictures. Joy, Lekwat, being part of it all. We'll come back with Perspectives tomorrow. Have a good day.